Hi guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Ansible network modules. Ansible network modules can configure your network state, test and validate existing network state, and discover and correct network configuration drift. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of Ansible will be absolutely clear to you. This series divided into multiple parts, therefore subscribe to the channel and follow the playlist.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
Sometimes you can become independent, so we don't need anyone else. This coding is important. Everyone has to code. So if you are getting scared from coding, you should not be in a DevOps team. Okay, so this is a thing. So now the question was how to reduce this, what to do here. Answer is reduce wastage. Now when I say reduce wastage, it's a full day of discussion. I'm not getting into that, but giving you high level. So here cost reduction, running cost, development cost. So for running cost, what should I do? So we started migrating from physical machine all this evolution, nothing new I'm talking about, to virtual machines and virtual machine to container. This is called runtime environment platform. You call it this a platform. Okay, and in terms of software development model, which are the model you are working right now? Software development model,
Waterfall.
which are the software waterfall. So here you see, earlier when we had a release cycle 1 year, we had a waterfall model. Then we got a 2 weeks agile model, and now we need a 5 minutes DevOps model. Now because of that, software architecture also has changed. Software architecture also has changed. So earlier we had a monolithic architecture, right? Now we got SOA, service oriented architecture. Then here we got a micro service architecture. See that evolution? See that evolution? Okay. Now after the DevOps, we are also talking about DevSecOps. We are talking about the DevSecOps. One second, guys. Someone has knocking my door. Just a second. Give me 2 seconds. So sorry, because I'm staying alone and it's very difficult somewhere. Okay, so here, so we were discussing about monolithic to SOA, service-oriented architecture, and then microservices architecture. So this is the evolutions which we are going through. So last goal is, so goal of this immediate release, we changed it, model we changed it here. We changed the architecture of the software also. And for the cost reduction, running cost, we change this one, development cost, we change this. And last one, improving a quality. Improving a quality. Because every organizations, they want to improve the quality of the software. So every time, this is there since many years. Improve the quality. So then for the improving the quality also, better integration has come place. Integration between everyone. Those who's writing a code for the product, writing the code for the testing the product, writing a code for infrastructure and production and dev. So here, better integrate. So this is the goal what we have. Make sense? So guys, now you understand what is a DevOps. DevOps is one of the initiative to do the immediate release, cost reduction, improving the quality. DevOps is a way to mitigate. Are you a dev? Are you QA? Are you architect? Are you lead? Are you manager? Mitigate every roles in a team, and only one person is there. That is called DevOps. Who will do the coding also for the product? Who will do the coding also for the testing the product? And who will do the operations? But how come one person can do everything? You must be working. The answer is hidden in this one. Now we are not at all doing lots of work. You are doing very tiny work, microservices. So let me give you the visualizations if you are not able to understand this. See, earlier we had a product. Hundreds of features were there and totally together in a one bundled exe or whatever it is. This is called monolithic. But nowadays we have separated out. This become a one service. This become one service, separating out. Everything got isolated. Okay, and this service, let's say earlier you have a 20 minutes to build time and 10,000 lines of code, or let's say 1 lakh line of code. Now you have hardly 500 lines of code. 500 lines of code. 500 lines of code. Now this release is 1, this release is 1.2. All are independent release. Don't need to affect anyone. 5.5, 6.2. So 20 people are working together. Here 2 people, 3 people, 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, 1 people, 2 people, 3 people. So you need to do coding for this product, code testing for this product, and operations also for this product. So is it possible or not? Because you are not managing 1 lakh of code. Hardly you are managing 500, 600, 10,000, 1,000 lines of code and doing faster releases. Because see, this was 2 release, this is a 6 release. So this is the world of microservices. You have to do everything. You have to become everything. And this build time will be 1 minute. Testing time will be 1 minute. Deployment time will be 3 minutes. Your task is done. Coding time maybe few times, depends on your wish. So are you getting my points, what I'm trying to say? Guys, are you there?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah.
So this is a DevOps. DevOps is one of the ways to reduce cost reduction.
Rajesh.
Yeah.
Hi, Mohit here. I have a question. So, doesn't this microservice contradict the logic of integration? As in, how is it better integrated when you have disintegrated all the services earlier, at least in monolithic? we had a view of that everything is consolidated. But in microservices, you have disintegrated each part of that product, and then any team can do independently what they want. So how that
Yeah.
integration is managed at the end?
Yeah. So first problem was for this particular service. Okay, think about it. For this particular service, can I do the development, testing, and operations independently? That thing is yes. Now the question you must be having, how these hundreds of service will be integrated, correct? And working
Yeah.
together. Yeah. For that
Yeah.
we have a technology. So here you have a technology, containers technology. And here, if you evolve a little bit more, you have Kubernetes. And then we have a mesh, service mesh, we call it. Service mesh will solve that problem for you. With service mesh will solve that problem for you. Not everything will be done automatically. You don't have to do anything as such. You just have to set up the service mesh, you have to bring your platform to the container, put it in the Kubernetes, and put it in a service mesh. Every magic will happen automatically. This whole integration, security, certification, which service will talk to which service, microservice, everything will be done by this one. Running the services, everything will be done by this. Auto mode you will have put it. So if you don't know, probably next training you should invite me for containers, Docker, then Kubernetes, and then service mesh like HTO or console or whatever. Okay, so this is a self-service, by the way. Once you understand and set up a platform, it will be self-service. Self-service means automatically will happen. You don't have to bother about it. You focus on the code. Ultimately, focus on the code. This one. Okay. So, guys, any other questions?
What's the difference between service-oriented approach and microservice?
That's a good questions. Can I quick explanation here? Service-oriented architecture, I think you know that. I don't need to teach you. It's like, I'll put it in a simple way. Web server talk to app server. App server talk to database server. In between, you have a load balancer, load balancer, load balancer, load balancer. So here, this is called service-oriented. This is a service, this is a service, this is a service, this is a service. And microservices is like a too many services. So too many services for each feature. You have a service, and for each service you have a database. Make sense?
Okay.
It's a big topic, to be honest. So I'm not focusing right now, but just to give you that little bit high level. So SOE you are currently working. Whatever setup you are having, you must be having. It must be SOA. Okay. So guys, this is the world of DevOps. Where is the DevOps? You understood now. Now, but the question is, DevOps is not working actually. You know, do you have all of your services migrated to microservices? No. Have you converted into the containers and Kubernetes? No. Have you got the releases of 5 minutes? No. So DevOps is not working. We make call, we are a DevOps team, but actually it's not working. It's a myth. We are in the world of living in the myth actually. None of the teams has got achieved to the DevOps, true meaning of the DevOps. Why? So many challenges are there, you know that. So many organizations realize that DevOps cannot be implemented. If can be implemented, there's nothing better beyond that. If you can implement the DevOps in a true meaning, there's nothing beyond that. But soon Google realized that it will not be possible as we think. It will not be possible. So DevOps started failing actually. because we all started running the DevOps from last 7, 8 years, 9 years, and we got entho about it. We want to do all this thing. But the progress has become slowed down because of many reasons. And many people have realized that we are not addressing the real challenges of the DevOps. We are not evolving. Rather than we started branding ourselves as a DevOps, and we say DevOps, but none of the principles we follow of the DevOps. Then Google initiated one initiative, and that is called SRE. So SRE is Google said, let's not jump directly to everything. Let's jump everything in a phase wise. That means let's combine the development and QA effort, and let's call it a dev engineering, and let's put the operation not apart from that engineering, dev engineering team. Let's put it under the engineering only, and that's called ops engineering. So ops is not ops. Ops is being called ops engineering. So both are engineering team, dev engineering, ops engineering, and both will work together. Now both will be having different team, but will work together. And this model is become very popular nowadays, is being called SRE, Site Reliability Engineering. That means the person who's taking all the initiative to make this microservices working or SOA working, and with the help of the dev engineering team. When I say dev engineering, include everything, okay, team, is being called as a SRE. So SRE is also one of the domain where we are focusing. So many teams don't want to go to DevOps anymore. Many teams say let's go to the SRE. SRE was initiative taken by the Google in a 2000, long back, I guess I'm missing the year, but now it's become very mature, and you can see SRE related stuff from the Google website, Google team itself, and CEO landing.google.com. So this is the one of the things which you can get through that. Okay, so this is the overall the things. Now coming back to my question, how Ansible is playing a good role in a DevOps. So basically, think about it. SOA. Think about it. Dev. Think about the QA. Think about a microservices. Okay. Ultimately, if you go software-oriented architecture or microservices, okay, in all the scenario, you have so many server. Okay, you have so many server. Dev, you have so many server nowadays. QA also so many server. Microservices concept also having so many server. In a short production, so many server. The question is, so many server you have, this is called environment. Okay, this is called environment. And in environment, prod environment, dev environment, all these things, you have multiple kind of server. We call it a group, like service, let's say DB service or app service, app environment, app service, or load balancer, something like that. Correct? So see here, in an environment you may have hundreds of server. In this you may have a DB environment, maybe 5, 10, 20, like this you may have a server. Okay, let's increase the number, 40 or something, 70, something like that, remaining you have. So you have a different server running in your environment for SOA, development, QA, microservices, production. The question is only one thing: how can I change a setup in all server in one go? When I say setup, setup means you want to install, you want to configure, you want to uninstall, you want to change something. I said change management. All this setup, you want to change something. The something can be anything. Let me tell you, any kind of applications, any kind of files, any kind of things. But in one go is very important. One at a time. No, everything at a time, not one at a time. So how can you use that? How can you do that? Because you want the immediate release. Everything changes has to happen now, parallelly. And for that, you need Ansible. Okay, you need Ansible. In short, we will discuss more reasons about it. But right now, you see the complexity. See, there is only one person. Think about it. That person should be doing everything. How he can do everything alone? He needs lots of tools. And for that, you need Ansible. So if you want to know how much tool you should learn, I've created one Excel sheet recently. Okay, because my old URL which I had created, it got outdated. And even I am getting the old URL, you can find it here. Here it is. So if you want to know in the Java world, what are the tools you should learn? Pre-production, left side is the problem, right side is the solution. Production, left side is the problem, right side is solution, and platform. So see here, so many tools you have to learn in order to execute it. But actually this is an old tool I created 3 years ago. Now I have to redo the things again, my step. I did it in the Excel sheet. Soon I'll publish. Look at this here. So I'm just not talking alternative, only one tool for everything. Okay, only one tool for everything. So do you know Grafana? Do you know Elasticsearch, Splunk, PagerDuty, Slake, New Relic, Splunk, Prometheus, Datadog, Notary, Twistlock, HashiCorp, Vault, Jenkins, Consul, Istio, Envoy, Helm, Terraform, Kubernetes, JUnit, Spring Frameworks, Chef, Anspec, Ansible, which you are learning now, Nginx, Bootstrap. This is the programming stack. Selenium, HP, Artifactory, Gradle, MySQL, SonarQube, Git using GitHub, and some of the programming stack, Jira, Docker, AWS, virtual machines, and also that. So you have so many things in order to implement. Only one tool I have mentioned here, by the way, which is my preferred one. Okay, so these are the things. So here, how do you do the server management, server change management? So this is where you are going to use Ansible. So now guys, enough introduction. You have any doubts? You have any questions? You can ask me. Any questions, guys?
Rakesh, Surendra side. So could you give us an overview on what we will be covering? We obviously have seen the day one curriculum, so and we would be following that curriculum if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, you'll be having the agenda already. So as per the agenda, we'll cover the same thing. So you don't have agenda?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so don't worry about that. It will be covered.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
No.
Okay, so now let's get started with Ansible. What is Ansible? So guys, Ansible is a configuration management tool. Now the question is, what is configuration? I don't know what is a configuration. What is you're talking about configuration? So here when I say configuration, then we talk about the server. No, servers. S. Servers config management. So whenever you say Ansible and you say configuration management tool, don't talk about anything else but server. Why? Because configuration can be anything. AC configuration, room configuration, my bed configuration, my laptop configuration, my database configuration, my world configuration. It can be any configurations. Okay, it's a very broad word. But when you say Ansible and then when you say configuration, that means always servers configuration. Now the question is, you will have in your mind, what is there in server? I said server, not servers, because whatever you have in the servers, you will have in the servers, correct? So what is there in the server? So let's get these points from you only. Your laptop is also acting like a server. So can you tell me what is there in your server or laptop? I will write it down.
Operating system applications.
So packages, what else?
Hardware components.
Okay, CPU, RAM, storage. What else?
Hardening, standardization.
No, something better. What you see every day in the day-to-day life in a laptop.
We mean applications.
Applications I covered. No, here is packages is there. Okay, don't you see, this is one thing which you see a lot and which we are forgetting it. Don't you see file, right? So many different kind of files, right? Your software file, third-party software files, you modify a files, you change the files, change management. Remember, change management, configuration management, change management. So you change this file, right? You have a directory which you're forgetting. You have a users. Don't you interact with the service all the time? Yeah, don't you interact service? So like that we have so many things. So in short, what is there in the server? So you have a hardware, software, people, process. When I say software, hardware, software, people, and policies. Policies, we define the process. So we have in a server, what you see, you have everything. But the question is, can Ansible can manage the hardware? Is that possible? Is that possible? Ansible can manage the hardware. Is that possible? Guys, who can manage the hardware? Tell me.
Operations engineer.
No, in your environment, who's able to manage your hardware?
Thanks for watching. To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.